The Sunday Roundtable has assembled, and we're joined this morning by Democratic political analyst Marianne Marsh. Making his OTR debut as a Republican political analyst is former U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts, Andrew Lelling. Great to have you with us, guys. Happy 4th.
Thank you for being here. So a new poll shows that the front-runners in the Boston mayoral race are Michelle Wu and Kim Janey, but undecided voters are as big a block as Wu and Janey supporters. While Andrea Campbell's super PAC waited until now to run ads. So why hasn't this race garnered citywide enthusiasm yet, Marianne?
Because the only person running a real race is Michelle Wu, and that shows in this poll. She's been the front runner from the beginning. She's raising the most money. She's got the most endorsements, and she's played this race beautifully to date. She put out the op-ed saying this shouldn't be a blood sport. Perfect for a front runner. She's telling everybody in terms of picking a fight with others, trying to keep that apart, trying to run a race that puts her in the forefront and keeps her there. If your name is not Kim Janey, everyone else is too late now. They're too far behind. Finally Andrea Campbell's on TV, too little, too late. Everyone else, way too late. And with 20% undecided, anyone left at this point, Anissa and Andrea, bare minimum needs half of them to get there, and they're not going to get it.
Andrew, why aren't more people paying attention in the city of Boston?
Well, I think it's early yet. I agree that the acting mayor is doing a great job and is way ahead, and the others are a little late in coming. And I agree that Michelle Wu is doing a good job. But it is early, and I think the other problem you have is there isn't tremendous differentiation among these candidates. They have their differences within a narrow band, but you're not looking at issues that are going to rile up a large portion of the electorate this early. More time needs to go by. I think the first date is in September, I think, for some kind of runoff, and then in November. In the fall, more people will pay attention. When there are fewer candidates, more people will pay attention. When there's a distinct choice between A and B, meaning probably Kim Janey and somebody else, then they'll pay more attention. But right now, it doesn't surprise me.
I would just say one thing. There's 72 days left. Michelle Wu's been the front runner from beginning to end. It is very hard to, that's not a lot of time. And she's done all the right things. And Kim Janey has all the advantages, yet still not in the front place. That tells you everything about this race.
Item 2, will the progressives here in Massachusetts and the delegation actually go through with their threat not to support President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure bill if they don't get their way on climate, childcare, and housing? Andrew, let me start with you.
Yeah, I think that they might do that. I think the problem the progressives have in D.C. is that they do not have the mandate that they think they have to pass legislation that is that far to the left. The other problem they have is that most of the country doesn't support liberal policies that are quite that liberal. So here you have an opportunity to pass a genuinely bipartisan infrastructure bill that a small fraction of the Democratic Party might torpedo because it doesn't contain a number of things that have nothing to do with infrastructure, like expanding Medicare or universal preschool, or a number of things that might be good policy choices, but aren't infrastructure. And so I think the problem the Democrats have is that if the progressive wing torpedoes the infrastructure bill, that will be an electoral gift to the Republicans in 2022.
Marianne?
And so I think they will come on board. It wouldn't surprise me if they did not.
'Tis the season for hostage taking. I have no doubt Elizabeth Warren and Ayanna Pressley will do just that. And Catherine Clark may join them on childcare. But let's be clear, infrastructure is anything that helps you get to work, and that includes childcare. Look at the Northwest this past week. Climate change, hundreds of people died from the heat, and their infrastructure buckling all over the place. So all of this comes together, and when the Republicans refuse to go along with any of it, it will be straight Democrats who pass that package.
So we're waiting to see who President Biden appoints as U.S. Attorney here in Boston. Rachel Rollins dived into a major controversy here on OTR just a couple of weeks ago, criticizing the former mayor, Marty Walsh, for his last-minute appointment of Dennis White as police commissioner. Take a listen.
This is a bad situation overall because either he knew about it and he's lying, or he didn't know about it and you're a terrible manager, right? So arguably, what is aside from mayor, is there anything bigger than the commissioner of the Boston Police Department? And there was no vetting process in this?
So, Andrew, you certainly know the politics of this appointment. Will this statement, the one that you just heard from Rollins, hurt her chances on becoming the U.S. Attorney, Biden appointing her?
Ultimately, I think no, it won't. Who knows who the U.S. Attorney is going to be, but if it's going to be Rachel, then Rachel's going to do it with the support of the 2 senators in Massachusetts. That's really what she needs. Also, these decisions in D.C. tend to be rather siloed. So they're made at the Justice Department and then vetted and approved at the White House. And I don't think any of this is going to impact that. I think what you're seeing is that Rachel has to make the transition from elected DA to, if she's going to be the U.S. Attorney, to an appointed U.S. attorney. What I mean there is if you are the elected DA, and especially if you're not going to run again, you can say whatever you want without consequence. You can't do that if you're the appointed U.S. attorney for an administration in D.C., because you can be unappointed. And believe you me, they will yank that leash if they need to, if you open your mouth on a subject when you shouldn't have. And I think that is something Rachel's going to have to adjust going forward if she does get the nod for that job.
Marianne?
With reports of associates of Marty Walsh trying to derail her appointment, if Rollins does not get the appointment, Marty Walsh and his associates will be blamed for that. And that will haunt him in any future campaign, just like the whole Dennis White issue will.